Hello, welcome to the School Transportation Nation podcast. We're coming to you live from the Green Bus Summit, well, virtual, of course. And I'm Tony Corbin, the publisher and president of School Transportation News. Happy Earth Day, everyone. This podcast is brought to you by TransFinder, the leader in school bus routing software, and also our friends at Zonar, a leader in smart fleet management.
And I'm Ryan Gray, editor-in-chief of School Transportation News. And just here as we start the podcast, finally the sun starts shining here in Southern California. So great for Earth Day. I was hoping it would come out a little bit sooner, but it's here. So perfect timing.
Yeah, Ryan, Earth Day didn't disappoint. We've had a lot of really great news announcements that have kind of come forward, kind of dovetailing on all the good things we're doing. But, before we get into those, want to talk a little bit about Green Bus Summit and all the amazing content, people, stakeholders, everybody kind of came together to have this real important discussion about EV, propane, alternative energy, infrastructure. And after this event, I feel like we have a large mountain to climb to get to the other side of turning the school buses in this country into alternative energy, at least EV. And there's just so much good stuff that happened. And we started off with Tucker Perkins, the CEO, president of the Propane Education Research Council. He gave a very compelling discussion and congratulated everybody that was investing in propane, investing in EV to make a difference in children's lives, right? In the end, this is about a relentless vision to keep kids safe, to help them thrive, flourish, shine. We've been using that all the way through Green Bus Summit, and it really rings true. And in the end, this is for the kids. It's for the environment. And there's just so much momentum. And I've said it so many times over this event. We are at an inflection point in the school bus industry with going green. There is so much momentum, wind in the sails, more than I've ever seen or ever felt before in my tenure here at STN, which about 15 years. So it's really exciting, Ryan. I feel very invigorated by the conversations that we've had. And I don't know if you're feeling the same way too.
Oh, definitely. So much of this program did, electric is the energy du jour. Was reading an article, editing an article earlier today by Associate Editor Taylor Hannon, which is going to be going up on looking at some of the experiential panels that we've had. And of course, jumping in with electric. And she mentions that, electric school buses is that current slogan that the industry is really using. And, you just see what's going on at the federal level. Just this week, we had another bill introduced for an additional $25 billion. I think it's the total tally right now of all the different bills and infrastructure proposals and whatnot that are out there. It's $46.65 billion. I mean, that's like amazing. And granted, keep in mind that not all this money is going to pass. And this money is spread out over 8 or 10 years as proposed. But still, just the fact that school buses are being are mentioned and talked about in terms of these kind of types of funds, where normally, transit is getting $5-6 billion a year, and school buses are getting, whatever they're getting at the state and local level. So very encouraging. A lot of great conversations this year of, okay, let's talk about how we make this work. And there are a lot of good use cases out there. A lot of folks that are having success with electric as well as with propane and with renewable diesel. And we see other fuels or blends that are on the potential horizon. So we wanted to take a deeper dive and not just talk about the funding, although Suzanne Sullivan of Sullivan Strategies in DC did a great job, former U.S. Department of Transportation Deputy Chief of Staff, and worked on Norman Minetta's transportation committee in the House a couple decades ago. So she definitely is a leading advocate on Capitol Hill, and really gave us a great kind of base coat to start the conversation on Tuesday. But we've really dived into some really good topics and talked about, just most recently this last session we talked about leasing, and zero budget allocations to adopt electric. We talked about battery technology. We talked about charging infrastructure. Just it's mind-boggling all the stuff that we covered this week. So it just hopefully it was helpful to folks, and I doubt no, it was definitely helpful to me. So.
Yeah, and Ryan, there's been a lot of talk, right? Most of the school bus EV experience, which there was a session done, Ewan Pritchard, Tyson Broadwolf, and Richard Gallagher out there in Bayshore, Long Island. They all had this really in-depth conversation because a lot of them are either piloting or they have expertise around this. And it's like, what necessarily are they facing during their pilots? What are the environmental challenges? What are the range challenges? So a lot of these big topics are being unpacked at the show. And, I think you just got done talking to Todd Watkins there at the end of the day. And, he said he had 500 square miles out in Maryland, right? Out in Montgomery County in Maryland, they have 500 square miles. So you have to really pick and choose the application of EV, but he's committed to go an EV, right? Over a period of time. But you gotta start somewhere. And I think that what's been brought up is there's definitely lead time. And I heard a lot of different lead times in terms of how soon can I get an EV bus? And certain manufacturers are going to be able to get you an EV bus sooner than later, where propane, they can deliver right now, right away. The cost variance is significant, right? Propane is trending a lot less expensive. The operational savings is huge. EV just hasn't reached scale yet. And I think many companies are banking on the fact that we're going to get to scale. We're going to get there sooner than later. And you're starting to see the acceleration. And with the federal programs, Ryan, I have no doubt we're going to get there. But without these funding programs, it's just not going to be possible, right? School districts just cannot sustain. And that's kind of what Todd Watkins was saying too, is he didn't want to get into something that, that just wasn't sustainable. So I think, he's partnered up, he's got this program, he's got a vision, but I think many districts are asking themselves that question. If we dive in, what does that mean? And what's the redundancy? If there is a natural disaster like a hurricane, an earthquake, if the power gets knocked out, do you have the appropriate battery storage on your site to be able to keep running your vehicles? Because with fuel, you can do that too. But there's always these kind of what if scenarios people are going to be running. And school buses have just been synonymous during these natural disasters. You always see school buses coming to the rescue. What if they're all electric? Then what? What does that mean? And I think, Ryan, you tossed out a data point earlier talking about, with the Texas power outage, what all those school bus batteries combined would have been to power homes. What was that? Where did that number come from, Ryan?
Zoheb Dafar at the Mobility House calculated 700,000 homes. So that's quite significant. And, to your point, that's some of the promise of electric, but we're not there yet. I think everybody admits that, everybody realizes that, but you got to start somewhere. And again, the fact that we see all of this federal money being, thrown about, and we'll again see where it shakes out, see where it lands. But we're going to see something. And hopefully it's that 25 or $20 billion over 8 or 10 years. But keep in mind, still that's, if you're looking at today's costs, that's about 10% of the national fleet. Now the administration is saying 20% because they're hedging their bets here that the battery technology is going to come down, that the costs are going to come down, the infrastructure is going to come down again as you get more up to scale. So that's the promise that's in front of us. But you're right, there are fuels available now today. renewable diesel. We had a session on that, talking with Chris Ellison's uh, experience, really getting it off the ground in Oregon, um, and what that's done for him. And the challenge with that is it's still at a price point where it's a little bit higher than regular number two diesel or number one, and the supply is not where it needs to be. It's helped over the last couple of years with large international firms like Neste, from over in Europe, that are now here, and they're making it domestically, so we don't have to import it. But still, even that it's going to take time. It's going to need to be seeded a little bit more. But the long story short here is that there are options, and there are folks who are engaged in this, and there are folks that are available to help and want to help. And that's what this Green Bus Summit really brought forward.
Yeah, Ryan, the fuel blending is very interesting, right? Because renewable diesel, like, okay, what is that, right? How does that happen,
I'll
right?
tell you.
It's a blending, right? And I mean, I know they were talking
No,
about. Oh, it's not blending. Oh, tell us what it
no,
is,
no, no,
Ryan.
no, no. Well, you're thinking of, so this is one of the misconceptions out there. We talk about renewable diesel, and we'll send out surveys, and folks go, oh yeah, I use that. They're thinking of biodiesel. That's a blend. Now you can go from anywhere from B1 or B5 to B100, and that would be like a pure blend into diesel. But renewable diesel is actually biomass, so not petroleum based, not fossil fuel. It's based on living organisms, plants, those kind of things, and it's a chemical. Distillation, or where it's this fuel that's derived from living organisms, and that's what it is. And the beauty of it is that it operates just like diesel. It just does not have the carbon index of diesel. It's like I said, fossil free, completely renewable. You use it, and then of course you burn it up, but you can actually recapture that, and you can go and get more organisms and continue the process. It's a drop-in fuel, so that's the allure of that, where you don't need to have any new infrastructure. That's obviously whether you're talking electric or CNG, or propane. You need different tanks for propane. And a lot of that is being subsidized by fuel providers, especially if they own it. But with something like renewable diesel, you just drop it right in and it works. It's already been okayed by folks like Cummins. They say it does not void the warranty. So there are those options as well. But like I said, there's some challenges with that too. It's just not widely available as it really needs to be. But as we move forward, because it is going to take, I imagine, several decades to get to the point where everything is electric. And even then, everything might not be electric. I think we're going to see propane continue to be that domestically sourced fuel. We're seeing, we had a conversation about the pathway toward renewable propane and using a blend like dimethyl ether to reduce that carbon index to 0 or below 0. So we're really, I see it as zero emissions. That's where we're going, and certainly the sexy term right now is electric school bus. But I think we're going to have a lot of different fuels on the table for us to choose from to get there.
Yeah, Claire Miller, the SVP over at First Student, she's the head of strategy, communications, business development. She had keynoted for us yesterday on Wednesday, and she really kind of put together a large plan of, hey, if you're considering EV vehicles, you can't just think of buying the bus or even simply the infrastructure. You got to think much bigger in terms of all the aspects of what you're facing. I think it was like an 8-step plan, Ryan. I'm not sure if we can pull that up and maybe share that with the audience, but the plan really kind of gave me cause to pause, thinking like, it's not as easy as people think, right? It's great to say, harder to do, and you need to have the right partner connected to you, right? You have to have a good partner, and it really is so important. I know Phil Horlock also came up; he was keynoting, and really, it's amazing that Bluebird has got over 50% of all the buses it's producing is alternative to diesel, right? So there's just so much going on there. And really, I think ultimately, this industry is ready for a change. We're seeing more and more investment in green, and it's really a great thing. So, Ryan, I want to recognize our Green Bus Summit inaugural Fleet Award winners. We've got the list. You and the folks at NREL had gone through, John Gonzalez, to pick out the best of the best. Why don't you give us who that is?
Yeah, so drum roll, please. So there are four categories. We split these into, well, first of all, there's public fleet, and then there's private fleet. And for public, we have large and small, and for private, we have large and small. So we received about almost 25 nominations over the past month, and we'll start with the public side. We'll go to the large public fleet category. This particular school district, they started out with just 30 propane autogas buses in 2014, and now they are at over 255. So they have a fleet of 1,000. That's Mobile County Public Schools in Alabama. Congratulations to you, big propane user. And then at the small public fleet category, this district in the Seattle area has brought in both propane and electric to reduce NOx emissions by over 20,000 pounds per year, and particulate matter by over 468 pounds a year. That is University Place School District number 083 in Washington State. So congratulations. And heading over to the private fleet category, this is a very large national fleet. They operate over 2,500 buses, and propane is their vehicle of choice. They are operating, I think, about 18 or 20 different locations across Canada, and that is Pacific Western Transportation with 900 propane buses out of that fleet of 2,500. So congratulations to Pacific Western, based out of Calgary, Alberta. And for the small private fleet category, we're heading up to the Northeast. After meeting with the former superintendent of schools a couple of years ago, the Board of Education for the city of Norwalk, Connecticut, made the decision to move from diesel to propane last spring. So now they have all 65 of their buses that are propane, courtesy of Durham School Services. Norwalk Board of Education and Durham School Services, you are the small fleet category winner. So congratulations to all.
Yay.
And you mentioned we were putting these awards together. Our friends over the National Renewable Energy Laboratory worked with us, and you worked with me in both in developing some of the topics and then also judging all of these great nominations. And I want to give a special shout out to John Gonzalez, senior application engineer over there at NREL in Colorado. He was a speaker for us this week, on yesterday, in fact. So I want to thank him and everyone at NREL, his associate Sandra Loy. Couldn't do it without you. They're great consultants on the green bus front. And we were talking, and we wanted to come up with a special award, Tony, to really recognize a leader in the green bus realm. And a lot of people know this gentleman's name. And if you hadn't before this week, I think you got to meet him. Tim Shannon, Twin Rivers Unified School District. Congratulations. You are the Pioneer in School Bus Electrification Award winner. Twin Rivers in Sacramento, California runs the largest fleet of electric school buses in the nation, currently with 40. Which will go up to 58 by this August when the next round of 18 come in. And it's really interesting to note, I believe it's about 75 or 80 buses total that they're running up there in Sacramento, but it's a completely alternative fuel or energy fleet, Tony. So in addition to the 40 electric buses currently that they have, they still have some legacy CNG from that California mandate of about a decade ago. And then they also have some propane. They have renewable diesel. I believe it's actually, I think they must be operating more than over 100, because they have 40 electric and 75, I think, renewable diesel. So they're probably closer to 200 buses that they're running. So, but just a great example. Tim, he's also the writing committee chair for the National Congress on School Transportation for the Alternative Fuels and Energy Writing Committee. So really has been recognized for his leadership and his forethought on this issue. So we wanted to give him the Pioneer in School Bus Electrification Award. So congratulations, Tim.
Yeah, congratulations to all the winners. Tim Shannon, good friend to STN. Thank you so much for, driving forward, Tim. I think it really takes somebody special to get out there, put themselves out there, and really you've made an enormous impact on the school bus industry, and it's seen, felt, and appreciated, and we wanted to recognize you. So congratulations to you and your entire team there at Twin Rivers. You guys all are working hard. So great to be an example for our industry. So wonderful. Ryan, I want to bring a message from one of our episode sponsors and a platinum sponsor at the conference, Zonar, a leader in smart fleet management. Zonar recently announced that its pupil product solutions are supported on electric school buses. The Zonar V4 telematics system captures engine control unit data, which is then pushed to ground traffic control, where the information is easy for fleet managers and dispatchers to review and digest while providing powerful data. Additionally, Zonar's electric bus solutions work with data input by the driver from its tablets and over-the-top solutions. You can learn more at zonarsystems.com. That is zonarsystems.com. Ryan, we have lots of news, lots of things going on. I think, some of the bigger things that we saw, Kamala Harris visiting Thomas Built Buses this week. I mean, how big is that? Vice President of the United States visits Thomas. And then we also had Joe Biden doing a teleconference there at Proterra, who also was displaying the Julie Thomas bus as well. And they talked all about kind of what was happening. You want to give us a little update on that news for anybody that missed it?
Yeah, we can check out the articles or the article on stnonline.com. But yeah, on Monday, Vice President Harris visited the High Point manufacturing facility there in North Carolina, got a lot of great photos, met with some of the Thomas team there, and walked the plant, watched how the Julie is put together. They're out there really pushing the infrastructure bill, the American Jobs Act jobs plan, and that's that $20 billion for electric school buses. And then the following day, her boss, President Joe Biden, did that virtual tour of the Proterra plant in Greenville, South Carolina, just down the highway from the High Point plant, and really, dropped a bomb on everybody, a good bomb, a love bomb, if you will, mentioning that he was a school bus driver in law school at Syracuse University. So that was never heard that before, and I'm pretty sure definitely no president that I know of has ever driven a school bus. We'll have to go back in the annals of history and really research that one, but likely this is the first former school bus driver who has sat in the Oval Office. So exciting stuff. It sheds a little bit more light maybe on why school buses are making so much news right now. But definitely the industry should feel proud and happy about that. You can read more on those articles. Just head over to our website, stnonline.com.
Yeah, and I think prognosticating, I think Ryan's asked us to put our hat on a few times about what the future holds for alternative energy in the school bus industry. And, as I mentioned at the top of the podcast, we have never seen the amount of federal support and legislation being introduced to support you guys out there, the school transportation nation. And I'm telling you, this is something special, guys, really special. And school transportation and the kids you support are going to greatly benefit from all this momentum. And this is just happening now. There could be more legislation, but as Ryan alluded to, nobody expects everything to pass, right? It's got to go through the legislative process. They're looking for bipartisan support, but who couldn't get behind supporting children and children's health and well-being? It is a great cause to be a part of and to attach yourself to. So we have a lot of stakeholders that are putting emphasis about this. I saw today Mayor Bill de Blasio in New York made a call out that he wants to take all school buses in New York, that's all school buses, electric by 2035. That is a tall task. That is like 15,000 school buses. So we'll have to see how that shakes out into the future. But on this Earth Day, it is quite a ear-grabbing, eye-grabbing headline to grab onto. And I know I saw Sean Fitzpatrick, who is representing out in New York City as the director of transportation out there. So Sean, shout out to you, my friend, for being here at Green Bus Summit and looking into and learning all about everything we had to share with you guys here at Green Bus Summit, all the information. Ryan and his team of editorial staff have done an amazing job kind of recapping the articles on the STN website. Also, if you missed any of the keynote addresses, want to give a shout out to all our diamond sponsors. That is Bluebird, First Student in partnership with NextEra Energy, and the Propane Education Research Council. All three of them provided keynote addresses, and all three of those keynotes are up on the Green Bus Summit website. That's greenbussummit.com. In case you want to go check it out for yourself, it's a real time investment, just a little bit of time to get a lot out of it. So highly recommend going and checking out those videos. And I want to bring up another partner of ours, TransFinder. And, school buses right now, they're known for being bright yellow, but you know what? They're also going green. So is the industry. How does it sound with your school just operation, reducing that carbon footprint, reducing emissions? Sounds pretty good, right? One way to do that, to get more efficient, routing. Your routing software, it's huge. And that's where TransFinder comes in. Its award-winning Route Finder Plus software solution is the champ when it comes to providing the safest, most efficient bus routing on the market. TransFinder has helped thousands of schools from coast to coast cut their fuel costs significantly by traveling fewer miles. Fewer miles equals better environment. And that is exactly what we all need. Better for everybody, better for the kids. TransFinder is your efficiency finder. Call them at 800-373-3609 or email marketing@transfinder.com to see how you can go green and save big, and also save some green yourself with TransFinder. And don't forget, mention the STN podcast, Green Bus Summit. They want to hook you up with something special in that subject line. So be sure and talk to TransFinder. We appreciate them being the podcast sponsor. And, before we wrap up the podcast, Ryan, I know we had a few gift card winners from Green Bus Summit. We always like rewarding people for being active chatters. That is the purpose of these virtual summits, is to create interaction, to connect with your peers, and wanted to reward some people because really they're here for the gift cards, Ryan. They want those Amazon gift cards. That's what they're really enticed by. So you want to give us the names? Who are our winners? We have more winners. Everybody loves a winner.
More winners. Drum roll. Don Todd, Transportation Supervisor for Washington Township Schools in Long Valley, New Jersey. Congratulations, Don. Another New Jersey winner, Marissa Plancher, Transportation Coordinator for Metuchen Board of Education. Hope I'm saying that right, in New Jersey. Rich Eddington, a good friend of ours from the Reno Expo, Transportation Director at Park City School District in Utah. And Catherine Bowman, Director from Fife School District in Tacoma, Washington. So congratulations. Those Amazon gift cards will be making their way to you all shortly.
Excellent. Hey, Ryan, thank you so much. I want to thank everyone that participated at the Green Bus Summit. It's, a powerful thing when we're able to all come together, all connect, all share. When we started doing these virtual events, many people just stopped doing events altogether. And the team at STN, we all came together and said, how can we support our industry? How can we curate content and stakeholders together in this virtual environment? And we did just that. And so shockingly, Green Bus Summit is our 5th virtual conference. We have done 5 since the pandemic hit. And we are so proud of this event. We're so proud of our staff. The STN staff has gone so far above and beyond. They have done an amazing job. There are so many people that have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make this event feel seamless, and all our events from that point forward, right? It's just an amazing thing to have a great team that you trust. Ryan, his team, the events team, Alice Sabedra, Samantha Geierman, Amy Yamakawa, Claudia Newton, Ruth Newton, the whole team, Kent Myers. Kent's in the background. There he is. Hey, Kent, there he is. So master
He's already in Cabo.
That's like the wizard behind the curtain, Mr. Kent Myers, right? Yeah, he's always in Cabo, I think, these days. But you can be anywhere doing the virtual summit. So we're glad that you're participating. And, not to forget, STN is also known for our live events. And guess what? They're coming back. We're super excited. Want to be sure that you guys make it to STN Expo Indianapolis, October 1st through the 5th. The TSD conference, Transporting Students with Disabilities and Special Needs, November 17 through 22. And then we've also got STN Expo Reno headed for December 4th through the 9th. All that can be found at stnexpo.com. We've got all the conferences listed there. Also, don't want to forget Associate Editor Taylor Hannon. She's been killing it, writing all these great stories up on our website. We appreciate her as well. Thank you, Taylor, for all that you do. And I'm just so elated. Everything has gone so well this week. And Ryan, I can't wait to see all the great content and that you put together for the live events coming up. It's something special that we've done here, and I want to keep it going. I think our industry has counted on us to really help guide them with all this change, right? And I always joke, God forbid news is actually new. And we do our best to be right on top of the news and make sure we bring you all that news information every day about school transportation. So we appreciate you, Nation. It's just, I feel just very honored to be able to host this great event with my team. And I'm so glad that all of you participated and really appreciate all our attendees.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Looking forward to seeing you all soon live. But first off, we have our virtual Bus Technology Summit coming up in June. So stay tuned for that.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, Bus Tech Summit was, this is 2.0 that we're going to be doing in late June 28th through the 30th. So excited for that. You can go to bustechsummit.com for more information there. And that is it for our live podcast, the Green Bus Summit. It's a wrap. You want to find out all the great stories, everything that you can find is on stnonline.com, news, updates, everything you need on green alternative energy, school startup, COVID stuff, school bus industry information, everything you could use. Special thank you to TransFinder and Zonar, our podcast sponsors. We couldn't do it without you, and all our sponsors at the Green Bus Summit. We appreciate you guys. Thanks to all our listeners, Nation. You can stream, subscribe, review this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Check out stnpodcast.com wherever you listen to podcasts. Nation, we will see you next week. Green Bus Summit's a wrap. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, team. We appreciate you guys. Love you, Nation.
Bye. I'm going to sleep.